I am continuing in my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am continuing reading in a chronological order, according to event, not according to publication or volume, so I'm skipping around a bit as I move along. We are continuing in Revelation. We've been reading the seventh seal with the seven angels blowing their trumps, bringing in great devastation. 1/3 of all life has been destroyed. The locusts torment men for 5 months. The army of iron horses, 200 million strong. John's commission, the two prophets prophesying in Jerusalem, and the representation of the church in the woman who was driven into the wilderness by the dragon. All of these great things. And now we pick it up in chapter 13. In this video, we have a Joseph Smith translation. And what the Joseph Smith translation is, this is a translation or correction done by Joseph Smith to restore those passages that have been lost or corrupted over the years. The Revelation of John, chapter 13. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he hath power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword, and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. This, again, very famous chapter of the mark of the beast, but note the beast first. Feet as a bear, it was like a leopard with the feet of a bear, mouth of a lion, with 7 heads, 10 horns. This is the same as in Daniel's vision in Daniel chapter 7. He saw 4 beasts. The first a lion, then a bear, then a leopard, then a beast with many heads and horns. And what we have here is 1 beast, but it is like a leopard with the feet of a bear, the mouth of a lion, with 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that Daniel saw represented the kingdoms of the earth that would be coming in the future. This beast then represents all the kingdoms of the earth in the last days, or one great kingdom in the last days coming out of all these other kingdoms, unifying it again into one, you might say, one nation, one empire. There is a second beast that comes out of the earth. The first beast is wounded, but is healed. The second beast causes everybody to worship the first. Now, Joseph Smith has told us that when we see images of beasts, I know it doesn't say image at the beginning, but it does say later, verse 14, that they worship the image of the beast, and that the image is given life. So it is an image of a beast that he's seeing, and so it is a representation of earthly kingdoms. That's what Joseph Smith tells us, that whenever we see an image of a beast in vision, it is a representation of earthly kingdoms. So we have earthly kingdoms. The kingdom is wounded, but it is revived and brought back, and another kingdom rises to cause everybody to worship the first kingdom. And that is when we get the time period where they make war with the saints, they overcome the saints, and for, again, 42 months, 3.5 years, again. And those who do not have the mark, or the name, or the number, can neither buy nor sell. They are cut out of the economics. Now, there are a lot of theories about what all this means. What is this first and second beast? And, of course, much speculation about what the mark is, or the number. Number, 600, 6. A score is 20, so 3 is 60. That's where we get 666. Now, some people speculate that 666, it is, 7 is to symbolize completeness, being whole. And so 6 is some kind of opposite of it. I don't quite understand exactly what people mean by that, but it's an incompleteness. But it's not just being incomplete. It's like purposely incomplete in order to blaspheme or to revile against the truth. Something like that. It's very weird in my opinion, but there's also the mark. People talk about microchips being implanted in your hand and various things. These are my theories. Again, this is just like anything else. We're not really going to know what this is talking about until it is actually fulfilled. The mark of the beast has not been fulfilled yet. Not completely. I actually think we've seen the beginnings of it, but it has not gotten to the point where you are shut out completely economically for not having the mark of the beast. But also, most of these theories that talk about the mark of the beast as actual physical marks on the hand or microchip implanted, they don't have an explanation for the name and number. Because if you have the mark, you can buy and sell, but also if you have the name or the number, if you have any one of those three, you can buy and sell. And most theories don't explain the name or the number. I mean, they'll come up with ideas of what the number is, but not how it would prevent you or how it would allow you to buy and sell with in conjunction with their theories of the mark. So like I said, this is my theory. I think that the first beast, remember beasts represent earthly kingdoms. So the first beast was Russia. And that is with the rise of communism. I don't think it represents Russia, Imperial Russia, before the communistic revolution, the Bolshevik revolution. It's once it became the communistic state, that's what the beast represents. And that's the great blasphemies that it's speaking. The beast proclaims these blasphemies, and its proclamation is it's atheistic, and it is completely against free will. It is so counter to the gospel and to the plan of God that it is truly one of the worst blasphemies ever invented in human history. And that's your first kingdom. It is wounded with the fall of the Berlin Wall and the collapse of the Soviet Union. It is healed with the communist takeover in other countries, primarily in China. And China then rises as is the healed beast. Remember, the beast had 7 heads. So the beast itself is Russia, but the heads are the other communistic states that rise up around the same or shortly after. And it is healed. The second beast that rises up is not a political entity necessarily. I actually think it is more of the academic and intellectual side of the United States itself, as it rises up and it teaches everybody to worship the beast, the first beast. And that's what we have in our academic world today, is a massive push for communism and socialism. It is reviving and it is driving everybody to worship these things. The mark of the beast is not a physical mark. There's a reason it's either in the right hand or in the forehead, and that is, those who have it in their forehead are those who believe. They're the true believers in the communistic vision. Those with it in their right hand don't necessarily believe in the vision, but are willing to act the vision out. They are willing to accept it and be a willing participant in it. And so if you act the dutiful communist, you can take part in the economy, or you're a true believer. Now, the name or the number, the name are those in the inner circle. They know this is all a bunch of garbage. They are the conspiracy. They are the secret combination that is orchestrating everything. They don't need to believe, nor do they really need to act in a manner that accords with this communistic vision, because they're controlling everything. They have the name of the beast. The number of the beast is then those who have the special favor of the ruling elite. They're not part of the inner circle, but they are granted special favor from the inner circle. And so they are exempted from certain behaviors, from certain ideas. That's just my theory. I could be wrong, but that's what I think it is talking about. Now, we do have one small Joseph Smith translation here, although somewhat significant. This is verse 1. At the beginning there in the King James it says, "And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns." So now the correction states, "And I saw another sign in the likeness of the kingdoms of the earth, a beast rise up out of the sea, and stood upon the sand of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns." So this makes it clear that this is a likeness, it is an image that represents earthly kingdoms. And I will modify what I said before. I don't think that it is just Russia, because it has the 7 heads and the 10 horns. I think it is 7 kingdoms or 7 nations of the communistic movement. Russia, China, North Korea, Vietnam, Cuba, Venezuela. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Russia and China are in there. I don't know who the other 5 are. The wounding of the one head is the collapse of the Soviet Union, and the healing would then be the restoring of Russia as a major world power. I'm going to leave it there, and we will read chapter 14 next, so I will see you there.